Got ourselves a cold open for
ドナ
once.
トゥス、ホスウェル、ラインマイル、ジャンニ、コラン、トーニ、ウィラード。すまない。使わせてもらうよ。
Whoa! Oh! Oh! Yes! Oh my goodness, let's go. Oh.
撫でてあげればいいのに。自分の息子でしょ。
化け物が映ったら困る。
もうそんなことで映るんなら私なんかとっくに映ってるわよ。
Yeah, my friend. Yeah, you would have given it to her a long time ago, right?
たくさんの死を見てきた。美しいもの、不思議なものと出会うたび、この体を受け入れて生きていくのもいい。ずっとそう思っていたんだ。トリシャ、君と出会って子供ができるまではね。俺は年を取らないのに、俺の子供たちはみるみる年を取り、成長していく。急に恐ろしくなったよ。俺は本当に化け物なんだなって。
She doesn't see it like that.
どうも、ご主人さん。
写真よ。
はい、ピシッとして。まだみんなで写真撮ってなかったでしょ。
Oh,
そんな急
she's
に。
so lovely.
はい、エド抱っこして。
Oh, it's this.
Oh.
This is the photo, isn't it? His face is always covered.
準備できました。お願いします。
Oh.
参ったな。
Ah.
私だってね、いつか化け物みたいなしわくちゃのおばあちゃんになっちゃうわよ。でもね、どんな姿になってもみんなで一緒に笑って写真を撮りたいの。だからずっと家族でいて、自分から距離を置いて遠い存在になったりしないで。化け物だなんてそんな言葉で自分を傷つけないで。あなた笑って。
Oh.
このままずっとこの体を受け入れて生きていくつもりだった。
Accept this body.
だが今は違う。俺はトリシャと子供たちと一緒に置いて死にたい。
Oh.
あの野郎。
Oh.
トリシャ、俺行くよ。待っていてくれ。
Is it time for the promise?
子供たちには俺の体のことは言うな。
Okay, she always knew.
起こさなくていいの？
顔見たら俺。
バカね。泣いたっていいわよ。
They'll show up anyways. I've seen this before. Oh.
あら、どうしたの？
This should be interesting.
エド？
Oh my god. Oh, it hurt him. Right, he took the photo, right? Don't do it. Okay.
もう少しだ。
掘った瓦礫を出すための出口がどこかにあるはずだ。
Oh,
もう少し進んでみよう。スミスは報告に戻る。
oh boy.
どうした？
Oh. Oh. Whoa. Okay, this is something new. Is this Pride? Could be Father himself. Maybe not out here, but
死なず口ず。君も
oh
今日
god, back up, dude. Yeah.
ぶった切ってしまいたい。興味があるかないか。答えは二択だ。
ちょい待ち。こいつがいるだろ。
Whoa.
どうしたばっかには。
キンブリグレンの錬金術師エルリック兄弟というと
Yeah,
鋼の
that's the
錬
one.
金術師なるほど二つ名通りの姿あこっちですか
なんか久しぶりだなこのやりとり。
元に戻して入り口を塞げ。少々中に少々に話をしている。ここの掟だろう。強者に力に従え。
This
アーム
puts
スト
her
ロン
in,
グ少
in a
将
really interesting position, doesn't it? In front of her men.
行方不明の先遣隊の捜索は
黙れヘンシュル。
まだ生きて助けを求めてるかもしれないんですよ。
黙れと言っている。黙って従え。
Know that she has her reasons.
力に従えね難攻不落のブリッグズの北壁も権力に屈しますか
Oh, okay.
ま
It
あ
is her
その方
nickname.
が賢いやり方です
おはようスロウス。よく眠れたかね。
誰まだ眠い
プライドに言われているのだろう。
プライド面倒だけど
Ooh.
しょうがない
The name drop really got Sloth going, huh? Pride.
肝心なところが古代イシュバール語に置き換えられていて読めないようになっている。
お手上げですか
No?
スカーがいれば読め
Yeah,
るか
I
もし
was
れな
gonna
い。
say someone might
イ
show
シ
up
ュバール
soon.
の層なら古い言葉を知っている可能性があるからな。
There he is. Wow, the smiles.
研究所はあったか。
選ばれた者のために下の者は犠牲になると。
そう弱肉強食だ。弱き者が国の礎となり強き者がその上に繁栄する。
そうですかそれはぜひとも私にはい
Oh, I thought he's taking a leak.
お
Never
待た
mind.
せしました
瀕死の重傷だった貴様がその日のうちに全開してここに現れた。
Yeah.
どんな魔法を使った？
あなたには関係ないことです
そもそも上官殺しで刑務所にいた貴様がなぜ出所できた？
He's asking all the right
だから言ってるで
questions.
しょう関係ないと
この計画はいつから？
この国ができた時からと聞いている。それを今私の代で完成させるのだ。上に掛け合って君の椅子を用意させ
Damn,
よ
so creepy.
結構。
何
Oh!
スミスの腕は左でしたか？
Yes!
右でしたか？
こんな選ばれた人間になれるという
Raven's such a goof.
せっかくの椅子を
新たな椅子など不要。
Whoa! Ah!
不老不死が目の前にあるのに
この地で文字通り国家の礎となられよ。レイブン中将。
閣下
コンクリきれいに鳴らしておけよ。
Oh my goodness.
ずいぶん突っかかるじゃないですか同族がどんな死に方をしたのか知りたいとでも
黙れキンブリ。
お話ししましょうか
黙れと言っている。
Oh. Keep it together now. He's trying to bait
よ
you.
ろしいですか？レイブン中将の姿が見えないそうだ。
He'll put it
ど
together
こ
though.
か行きそうなところを知らないか？
こんなこともあろうかと鋼のが抜け穴を作っておいた。
Nice.
いやどうも鋼の錬金術師殿に面会をお願い
Not this guy again.
おや私なんだか嫌われてますかね今日はお二人にお客様をお連れしました
客？
Oh. Oh my god.
何よそれ心配してたんだからね軍の人が連絡してくれたからいいようなものの
まあまあお二人とも大総統閣下が
Oh God, look at this.
心配していましたよ
キンブリ
そうブリックズの麓で看護師やってる友達に聞いたの
Good, good, good.
大怪我で入院してたのにレイブン将軍が見舞いに来た後すぐに治って退院しちゃったんだって
売られたねお兄さん花でも買って追いかけたらどうだい
諦めはいい方でね。遠慮しとくよ。
振る女もいれば拾う女もいるさ。オリビエ・ミラー・アームストロング少将から伝言があるよ。ロイ・マスタング大佐。
その花全部買わせてもらおうか。
Okay. Okay, episode 36. Yeah, Kimberly is on the loose. Man, the shackles are off. The shackles are off. Raven is gone. He's out of the picture. I mean, he's an absolute goof, isn't he? And a part of me actually kind of feels a little bit bad for him as well, seeing how far he's fallen and how far he's been corrupted by this notion of immortality. And at the end of the day, I honestly firmly believe that none of these people are actually getting the things that are being promised here. They're just pawns. If Olivier didn't discard of him, King Bradley would have done it at some point. One of the Sins would have done it at some point, as I do think they are going to do to many of them. They're using them. I don't think they intend. I don't think Father intends to keep any of these promises. So yeah, he was really so far gone. Like, he's just openly boasting about this stuff, and ultimately, gets cut down. Olivier really tried her best to contain herself for a long time to get the confirmation out of him. She actually got a lot of crucial information out of him before cutting him down, right? Making him part of the Foundation forever. Oh my goodness, the Ice Queen indeed. Oh yeah. And notice how there was simply no hesitation. The moment she cuts him down, all the men of Briggs, all the people under her command, immediately just go with the flow. She gives the order, it's done. No one questions anything because they know her, they respect her, and they know that everything she does is for Briggs. So yeah, she's got it on lockdown. But like I mentioned, Kimberly is on the loose now, right? And you see he's already kind of, poking the bear in a sense. He's trying to get a reaction out of Miles. Now at the end, the Elrics are locked up, right? Though I think Kimberly is going to see through that. Perhaps he already sees through it, and then he makes sure to have another contingency plan, essentially, right? Bring in the hostage that King Bradley kind of alluded to in that meeting of theirs. And, there's still a matter of, Briggs being the last significant point on that map. The same map Hohenheim also figured out a long time ago, right? From the looks of it, that bastard. And then, of course, upon kind of realizing this and understanding Father's plan, he had to get out of there, right? He had to go. And Trisha is such an incredible figure in his life. I mean, first of all, she's an incredible mom, like the best mother. And then Hohenheim coming across Trisha and falling in love. I mean, that's the best thing that could have happened to him, right? So much so that this man, this immortal man, he's looking for a solution so he can be mortal, so he can spend the rest of his life with his family, his children that he loves so much, right? The thing I really liked here is that you get to see the other perspective, from Hohenheim's perspective, right? They gave us Ed's perspective of a lot of these things. And the thing is, those things actually did happen, right? From Ed's perspective, they actually happened, but he doesn't have the context, right? He's a young child. He's a toddler, right? He didn't have any of this context. And to him, that glaring look looks like this, mean-spirited parting shot almost, right? But us, the audience, knows it's one of the most heartbreaking moments of the entire series so far. This man is just, seconds from breaking down. He's got the misty eyes, the lips going. He had to pull himself together, and he's like, all right, let me be strong. Let me put on this face. Let me put on this fake, facade for these final moments before I get out of here, right? And also, I felt that he was a little bit shocked, seeing his children standing there, shocked in the sense that maybe he was shocked at how much older they look, right? That's one of the heartbreaking parts of this, that given his nature, his immortal nature, time is just flying by. Time is flying by for him because he loves his children, of course, no doubt about it, but he's also scared of his love for them, right? I mean, honestly, that opening, the cold open, it's an extended cold open as well, right? Goes for like 6-7 minutes perhaps. That's one of the best moments of the entire series for me. It's got to be, it's one of the top moments. I mean, I actually even thought, and I was really hoping for an entire episode, just based on Hohenheim and family, right? I really wanted to see more of Trisha. You barely get to see much of her on screen. She really was the best for Hohenheim and for her children. She really was. And I think the sub really captures that lovely disposition. I don't, listen, I've checked out the dub take on Trisha. I don't think it quite captures that nature, that loving nature of hers. I don't know. It's just my opinion. But again, there's also a case of, oh, this is the one I watch. So of course, maybe the other one doesn't feel right. But also, if you flip that and ask yourself the question, is it possible that maybe you love the dub so much because that's the only thing you've known and that's your first experience, right? It's possible, because I admit myself, it's entirely possible that watching the sub, or sorry, not the sub, the original Japanese production with the subs, that's my first experience. And to me, that's always going to be the right experience, right? Anything beyond that is going to feel different. But for some of them, listen, I have no problem admitting or anything. I'm not trying to start fights or anything, debates. I have no problem admitting that some of the dub is really fantastic. It is. I said the same thing for Light Yagami. I thought Light Yagami's dub was perhaps, or not perhaps, it pretty much was on the same level as the original Japanese performance, I think. But also, I thought that the Japanese performances for many of the other, or for most of the others, was much better than the dub of Death Note. Again, my opinion. But yeah, I don't want to continue on this. I know, sometimes it kicks off in the comments, and I'm not trying to instigate anything. I'm not. I'm just giving my opinion. I just think the Japanese performance really captures that lovely nature of Trisha. But yeah, going back to the opening of the episode and the title of the episode, Family Portrait, I just really thought it's going to be an entire episode that's based on just Hohenheim and maybe a bit more of his backstory. Listen, I'm sure I'll get it. I'll get it down the line as well. But I don't know. I was a little bit surprised. I'm like, okay, that's quite the opening, quite the focus, quite the title to the episode. And then after that, it just kind of goes back to the North. And of course, I love the North. Don't get me wrong. I was just kind of expecting an entire episode of this. But in terms of looking at it from the other perspective and actually going down like that, I hope, and I'm sure I'll get it at some point, I hope there's a scene or moments down the line. I mean, I'm certainly past the midpoint at this point, so it might not be that far off, but, a heart-to-heart, Hohenheim and Ed. And of course, Al as well. Let's not forget Al. I just kind of leave Al out because I still believe any reunion with Hohenheim, it might not be the same as Ed and Hohenheim coming across each other at the gravesite, at the graveyard, right, at the late Trisha's grave. I still believe it, and I hope to see it as well. But yeah, a heart-to-heart. And I think if it's to happen, it's probably near the conclusion of the anime, right? Near the conclusion of the story, perhaps. And I just really hope Hohenheim gets to communicate his true feelings to his children, right? I just thought that was such a lovely moment. The cold open, that entire scene. I mean, how lovely is both of them, how lovely is young Ed and baby Al? I mean, come on. It doesn't get much cuter, does it? And, a thing that's really noticeable in this flashback specifically is just how fond Ed is of his father, right? You see that he adores him. He just wants his attention. And, there's a lovely moment as Trisha hands him Ed, and he's holding Ed, and Ed just loves it. He's just loving it. That cute smile on his face, those dangly legs. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? How cute is Al as a baby? And then both of them standing in the hall. Those cute big eyes. And of course, I thought it was so effective because it's showing us exactly how Hohenheim is seeing them as well, right? But listen, I've said it before, but Hohenheim is already one of my favorites of the anime, of the story. I do have a thing for these types of characters. The ones that feel like outsiders, the ones that just know they don't, or not know, the ones that feel like they don't belong, but they do. They truly do belong. But, they have a lot of internal struggle. So yeah, the character of Hohenheim was right up my alley, right from the beginning. And listen, man, as you know by now, I didn't doubt my dude. listen, and maybe there's a bit of a bias there, but the bias comes from just years and years of seeing this type of character, right? I've seen this type of character a lot of times. A lot of us have, right? So from the beginning, I just knew, I just almost immediately established that, okay, yes, from their perspective, from the children's perspective, especially Ed and Al, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for sure. But right from the beginning, I just kind of maintained he's going to have his reasons for this. I just have to be patient, and I'll get those reasons down the line at some point. And yeah, now there's enough already here in episode 36 or by episode 36 that I know he had his reasons. The moment he found out about Father's plan, he was out there. He was out there because now I think it's really even getting to the point of implying that he is directly putting things into motion for, the grand finale or the end game phase of this story, right? That cold open, or, the beginning of the cold open, whew, that is some scene. I mean, first of all, official confirmation, right? Official confirmation that indeed he is also made up of, I don't know, Philosopher's Stone, much like Father, right? Same type of thing going on. They hinted at it in the recap as well. Those small, souls kind of, or the small faces kind of lurking out of his face. Even though it was a dream, I feel like it was still hinting at it, strongly hinting at it, and it ends up being the case. But the thing I love here is that he is so apologetic that he is about to use these souls, and not just any souls. He's naming each and every one of them, almost as if he knew them, that these might have been friends or colleagues, people he respected, right? So I just love that approach, that he's asking for permission as well. Allow me to use you, or use your souls. He didn't say souls. I think he said, allow me to use you or make use of you, something along those lines. And it's really similar to Ed, isn't it? In Gluttony's Stomach, the false gate, he also apologizes before putting that into motion, right? The grand escape. And as you'll remember, I mentioned that, Ed appears to have a lot of things that are similar to his father. Maybe he doesn't want to admit it. Maybe he'll come to realize down the line. But yeah, like father, like son. There's a lot that's quite similar. But, going back to my initial point about him using the Philosopher's Stone, right? Ejecting it out of his body, right? Yeah, you see that it hits the land, of course, hits the ground, and then it gets absorbed into the ground. So clearly by design, right? Like I said, it really feels like he's setting things into motion. He's putting the pieces on the board as well, getting ready for sure. Now, in terms of the names, is it possible these are also people from Xerxes that he might have known in Xerxes? Because listen, it's so far down that path now that, I certainly believe the two of them, the yin and yang, Father and Hohenheim, they are the Eastern and the Western sages. I'm just so sure about that at this point, especially given their depiction as well. And I do believe they both come from Xerxes. Though, of course, the big mystery still is why the hell they look the same. But there is a lot of really interesting dialogue here, right? He'll be saying things like, I don't want the monster to spread, right? Once I got this body, right? Implying that he had a different body before, that he had a different form before, perhaps. So, I keep saying it, but any potential backstory is about to be incredible, isn't it? And, the thing I'm really excited about is if I do get to see Hohenheim in his younger days, right? I feel like it might actually resemble Ed quite a bit, right? I'm really excited for that potential. But I love this whole concept of immortality taking a bit of a shift and becoming more of a curse as love starts coming into the equation, right? First through the lovely Trisha, the love of his life, and then of course through his children that he loves so much. I think one thing this episode made so clear is that he loves his children, right? He loves them so much that he kind of devoted himself. But it's one of those dramatic irony moments as well, isn't it? He devoted himself so much that it also had the opposite effect. Ed started thinking that, he doesn't care about us. That he only cares about his own thing, right? But little does Ed know he was doing all of this to be with them, right? So he can grow old with them and die with them naturally, right? It really reminds me of the Doctor from Doctor Who. For those who don't know, he's a time-traveling alien. I mean, he's an alien, but he looks like a human, essentially. But technically, he's an alien, right? He's a Time Lord. Now, he's an immortal, but, the concept of that show, of that story is that, he takes on companions, right? Friends, companions, sometimes it becomes a love interest as well. But, the point being, these companions are humans, right? They grow old. And, there's a really poignant moment earlier on in series 2 of that show. It's called School Reunion. I'm sure there's a few of you that know about this, or there might be a bit of a overlap. Maybe some of you do check out both of these, Doctor Who and Fullmetal, on my channel. That whole concept of you can spend the rest of your life with me, but I can't do the same. I cannot spend the rest of my life with you, right? I have to go on. I have to go on living. Again, the whole immortal aspect to it, right? But he has to see these people he cares for and loves so much grow old, pass on, disappear. And he has to just accept it and keep moving for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? So for me, it's been really quite simple to connect with someone like Hohenheim and his struggle, especially presented in this episode as well. Wanting to be mortal now so he can have that life. And again, the Doctor kind of has that regret. That's one of his regrets, that he can never have that type of life, right? That's the one life he could never have. And it makes for a lot of really heartbreaking moments in that show. And I was getting a similar feeling here as well. So yeah, of course, I'm really quite excited for this character, from that point on, in the future of the story and the past as well. And finally, the post-credit scene. The homie Roy Mustang, right? He's been briefed. He's updated on the situation in the north because Olivier Mira Armstrong got in touch. So he knows about it all at this point, essentially, right? You just have to assume he's been briefed about everything through the letter or the contact that he received. So yeah, that was cool. That was a really cool moment to have, these two kind of not come together, but kind of have a bit of an exchange, even if it is through, intel and letters. So yeah, let's see how Mustang plays into this North arc, if he does play a part at all from this point on. But yeah, there's also that looming presence of Drachma, right? And like I mentioned, the only significant point that's left now is the North. They need to incite a lot of bloodshed. That they established that's a requirement. They need a lot of bloodshed. So, I'm bracing myself. I'm bracing myself for the big, big moment. Something goes down and there's a big battle or big encounter, something, right, to incite the bloodshed. But yeah, I've got to say that's a great episode. Especially the cold open, the extended cold open. It makes it one of the best episodes of the series so far for me. Top 10, top 15 for sure. Making that list is going to be a lot of fun. It is. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, folks. So if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access and, perhaps full length, consider checking out the Patreon page. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. It's always at the top. You cannot miss it. And also, just to specify, there's 3 early access episodes at this point, and soon to be 4. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.